Alright, let's get started then. I want to see if I can put some chill music in the background. And I'm not even sure I can hear anything. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn this on. Okay, I can hear something now. Definitely not K-pop. What is that? Uh, Bossa Nova maybe? I wonder if this is any good. Okay, I like it. It's a bit too high in volume. At least for me. Okay. That is lovely. You should hear it very low. I'm gonna try to keep the volume down for the stream, but it should just be a right environment audio. I think it's gonna stop at some point, and I'm not sure I will even notice. So today I'm going to do it with instance rendering, but before I dive into that, it is currently crashing, and also I'm gonna try to use a Miro board. That's a bit more advanced compared to Paint, and that's gonna be episode, is it 14? I forgot already. Yeah. So for the episode 14, we're gonna have instance rendering as well as fixing things. So why is it crashing? The last thing that I've touched before it was working. I'm also running out of disk over there. So what's the state here? That was working, and that's fine. This is also good. And I've changed the neighbor span from 4 to 6, and that made everything crash. Let's see if bringing that back to 4. Yeah, can you give me just 4? Just 6? Okay. Yeah, I should have looked for neighbors. So if I pick 4, then everything should be as it was before I changed things. Oh, okay. It's not working anymore. Did I change anything in here? Okay, I may have changed this value to 2048 and the shader, the number of sets that I allocate by default. And this was 2048. Why is that even too much? Okay, because I'm using this value somewhere. Yeah, so the max instance, I think it's used to allocate a static something in the stack. So this is a stud array, and it's trying to allocate it into the stack, which isn't great, I guess. Okay, so that's it. And I'm not really using all of them. So yeah, that's the problem here. Okay, let's just turn into a vector. Not great to be in the render. Okay, it's on the stack. It shouldn't be on the stack. What if I make it static? That should definitely bring it out of the stack, and it should still be fixed memory, so we don't have allocations in the render function. If I make it static, now that is totally valid because it's still everything is known at this time. Yeah, that should be alright. I don't like this too long of a name. Solid, yeah, I can probably solid flat. Is this a namespace? No, that's the class, okay. Whatever. This should bring it back to be usable again. Even if I specify a higher number here. Okay, cool. It is back to a working state now. And at some point I will have to make this in a way that I don't have to always think about allocating all the memory that I need. So let me just guess values. Yeah, this was 10,000 because I wanted to do how do you spell? Oh, okay. Neighbors. Now what if I go back to 7? Was it 7? Yeah, just a higher number. It's gonna be 7 times 7 plus 1 to the power of 3. Let's see if this is going to crash ahead of time. So that's 7 times 7 plus 1. And then qubit. Okay, that is... No, wait, did I do some wrong math? Gonna be 7 times 7 plus 1. Yeah, and then qubit. Yeah, that is definitely exceeding the number of things that I've allocated. But not all of them are going to generate some data. So yeah, that looks alright, kind of. Even though it's a bit too slow. Yeah, that is definitely too slow. I should probably generate the chunks that are closest to me first. Or at least the chunk that I'm on. Yeah, that would be a good strategy. Good change in strategy. Yeah, kind of spiral motion from the center. But that is just a nice to have thing. Now that I've got something that is back to working state, This error is just when I destroy the buffer while closing the application, so that is not something I want to worry about right now. Once you close the app, I don't really care anymore. So 7 is a bit too much. Let's say to 6. Or even 4. 4 was fine. Like, it is enough. Enough surrounding, but not too much. So that the... Okay, yeah, this is fine. And the music just stopped. Keep going. Alright, let's dive into instanced rendering. I need to look at the documentation first. VK instanced rendering. VK draw indexed instance. Was it something like that? Draw indexed. But not that one. I need the Vulkan one. Multi-draw. Draw indexed indirect. Oh, indirect. Did I say draw indexed? Indexed drawing. Oh, indirect. Should have been indirect drawing. Okay, I messed up the title. So, this is the command. The VK draw index indirect command structure is defined as this, but draw indexed indirect. Yeah, this is the one that I was looking at. To get an index count, instance count. Structure specifying an indexed indirect drawing command. Okay, that's VK command draw indexed indirect. Wait. No, not that one. This one. Indexed indirect. Okay. And indexed vertices. Okay, this is the one actually. That was a different type of beast. So VK command draw indirect indexed indirect behaves similar to VK draw indexed, except that the parameter are read by the device from a buffer during execution. Draw count draws are executed by the command with the parameter taken from a buffer starting at offset. Okay. And increased by the stride. Okay. The parameters of each draw are encoded in an array. Okay, yeah, so this is the type that is in the array. VK draw index indirect command. So this is the one that I will need to be in the first index. Okay, so this is the one that I will need to be inside the buffer, and we have indexed count first index vertex in first instance. But what about the bindings? Wait, let me quickly scroll to the rendering. So who's gonna bind the descriptor set? Bind descriptor set, okay. We need documentation about this. And it's only one. I guess we can bind a whole array of like descriptor sets that the instanced render will read from. We can bind descriptor set, okay, descriptors. And descriptor set is a pointer handles to get descriptor set. Dynamic offset count. Okay, even a dynamic offset. But we have multiple sets, so well, that could be okay. That could be an optimization. 0, 1, and we don't have any dynamic offsets. Well, that could be a further optimization. So basically, we have the whole array of uniform buffers inside a single set. Yeah, that could be a further. I'm not sure you can make any actual difference, but the descriptor sets here. Wait, b descriptor sets a pointer. Bind descriptor set 1 to descriptor -1 to set first set for subsequent bound pipeline commands. Any binding that were previously applied. The sets. Okay. Okay, that might be different. If any of the set when consuming a descriptor is considered valid if the descriptor is not. Okay, non-descriptor. Let's see if there is any reference to the indirect. No, there's no. Okay, there's nothing about the indirect. And what about the offset? Dynamic offset. Values are taken in order such as all entries from n come before n plus 1. Ordered. Each element corresponds to the descriptor binding. It's not super clear. I've done this before, but already forgot how I did it. And I guess this is the time where Mr. GPT can help. I'm gonna use Android Studio for this because for some reason the integration in CLion doesn't work very good. So I'm gonna summon Gemini. And scroll right to the draw. How can I turn into this guy here? So to change the VK command draw index, you need to set up an indirect draw buffer that contains the parameters you don't draw, and use this buffer in the indirect command. Okay, that's fine. It's beneficial with when the parameters of your draw, like index count, instead are generated on the GPU. Well, they're not generated on the GPU, but by a compute shader performing calling, or when you want to issue many draw calls, yes, stored compactly in a buffer. Here's a breakdown. Okay, this is all fine. I just need to know what happens to the descriptors. And the music stopped again. Well, maybe I can just leave it in silence. It's kind of bothering though. I need some context. Gonna make this a little bigger. Okay, the buffer creation is fine. I don't really need that. It's the rendering command. This is all good. The descriptors also remains the same. Okay, that's this is weird. Ensure vertex and index buffer are still bound. Oh, right. The buffers. Okay, maybe this is not the one that I was looking for. Index count. How do I find different buffers and descriptors? You're asking a fundamental question about how to render multiple different objects. Yes, resources within a single Vulkan command buffer. This involves changing the state bound. Core principles, state binding. In Vulkan, most rendering state, like vertex buffer to use descriptors, is bound to the command buffer. These bindings will persist until they are changed by another binding command. Okay. So to draw multiple objects with different resources, you typically follow the pattern for each object or group of objects sharing the same resource. Bind pipeline, okay. And binding a vertex buffer. Okay, so it looks like we can't really do better than this, except we change the way. There is going to be big difference. Set push const, not easy. Those anyway. Draw indexed, yeah. Yeah, that is just saying that I need to do different commands, which is what I wanted to avoid. Yeah, I guess I will have to change the whole structure of the code. Um, hmm. Maybe that is a bit too much. Hello, hello, Ong, Nian. How are you doing? I'm doing very good here. Well, it could be better because I just found out that it's not going to fit very well what I'm trying to do here. I would need to clamp everything into a single buffer. I mean, how much memory would it need, right? Because what I could do is I could create a vertex buffer pool and then use the same buffer over and over again. Every chunk, there will be a little bit of a waste, and it would look like something like this. Let's see if I can figure out how to use this program. Not the frame. How do you even do simple shapes? Okay, shapes. So right now we have for every chunk we have one of those things. Can you make grid? Can you make it like snap to the grid? Yes, of course. Okay, cool. This feels way better. And to copy, Alt, yes. So we got C1, and then we got C2, and these are all the chunks. So we got different chunks that go into the GPU. Each one of them have a vertex buffer, and hence that's why we have multiple drawing commands. But what if we only had a single big buffer that can be suballocated? So this is going to be C1, and then C2 is going to take this, and we might have even a hole. For C3 is going to use that. Nobody's going to use this hole here, and that might work, even though we need to change how everything is generated here. So the generate chunks and the chunk itself is going to need a different type of buffer. So chunk can't have a vertex buffer and an index buffer. We need to make a suballocator, which can have different, or maybe it's binding. Maybe you can use like VMA. Can I use VMA to suballocate into a buffer? Okay, yeah. It's important to clarify that suballocating into a buffer means so VMA suballocation typical memory blocks, large blocks. Create one large VK buffer with VMA. Yes, VMA integrates a large buffer. Okay. This buffer will be backed by one or more VK. One or more VK memory device memory blocks that VMA allocates and manages. Okay, that's curious. And then we can use different regions. Okay, this is getting into hardcore optimization, which I feel like it's a bit too early, and it's kind of gonna defeat the purpose of having fun. Dedicated allocation. Yeah, I feel like this is a step forward that I want to leave it for later when we really need it. Instead, what I can do to have much more fun. So we do have our nice terrain generated, which is still super flickery, and I would love to fix for that. And get rid of the HLSL frac function, which is the thing that is sorry to hear that. 42x. Solid flat. Okay, what I'm doing here, I need to go back to the chunk generation for a little tweak. Where is the chunk? I forgot where the chunk generation is. Okay, generate chunks. No, not this one. I want the measure. Measure. Well, I can go directly to the measure, and I need to tweak the way the mesh is generated. Also, now that I changed that mesh directly, I don't need the new measure. I've already updated the old measure anyway. So here I'm indexing each block on its own. And for example, I could go here and say that the color, I don't want the color to span from 0 to size -1, but instead how can I make it in a way that I know exactly that spans from 0 to 1? That would be much better. So what I'm trying to do is that I can use a square. No. Oh, come on. So I have my nice little cube. Well, paint was a bit easier to use. Come on, give me the line. Line. What is that? Is my mouse broken? I feel like this mouse sometimes is just not doing what I ask it to do. Oh, that. What is that? Dude, can you just make me a line? Oh, Can I have a cube? Damn, why so hard? Okay, maybe I have to use the freehand. Yeah, probably freehand. Can you make me a straight line? Can you make me a straight line? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I can make a straight line. I just need to... I just need to press. Okay, finally. I just have to press shift. Okay, good to know. Skill issue. It's always a skills issue. Well, we have the cube. The coordinates that is doing right now is that it's starting from 0 here. Then we got 1. And then for the next row, we're gonna get 2, and so on and so forth. Which is not what I wanted. But if I put zeros, then it's not gonna be useful anyway. So I wonder if that is something that I can do right here. Yeah, this whole function should be rebuilt, because I feel like it's getting a bit out of hands. Data blocks. For every phase, we're putting what if I just give up with the indexed thing? Do I really need to be... does it really need to be indexed anyway? Because we're wasting more space with indices where it should really just be triangles. Let me try to go full on triangles then. So instead of pushing the vertices like this, I want to do it in a way where I push the vertices following this code here. Yeah, that should be a good strategy. That's going to be A, E, H. A, E, A, E, H, and then A, H, D. A, up, H, and D. And this should give me the back face. And I might be happy with it. So let's comment everything before committing to it. And the music is gone. I feel the void. Maybe I can change type of music. Let's go a bit on a funky ride. And indices are not required anymore. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Bro, give me music. Okay, I like it. It's a bit too much up tempo. I can't follow. It's kind of distracting. Can you give me a bit of arpeggios? There's need to be... Bro, what's going on? Give me this. Okay, once we have all of our buffers, let's jump right back into the drawing command. Not the grid, but the chunks. And I want to comment that out, wrong key bindings. And I want to say vk command draw. Just draw. And that's the command. And what is this? Okay. Yeah, I just made things up. So I want to draw the vertex count, which we don't have. But I can grab the vertex buffer. Dot size? No, we don't have that. So we have the index count. We need the vertex count. Let's see if we can guess it. No, discard. What is this? No, not the size, but close enough. N32T vertex count, not size, but vertex. No, we don't have the vertex count. Index count, then we need a vertex count. What is this? This is very AI generated. Give me some chill. and remove the abomination. Okay. This is way more relaxing. So we get the vertex count, and we need to set it somewhere at the end of the generation. Okay, so this is chunk, vertex count, vertex buffer. There's a create. Okay, we get the chunk data. Okay, index count. Yeah, that should be in here. And we get the vertex count, and that's going to be vertices. Story time central. You can see the pain in his eyes. There is some pain. But it's also excitement because, you know, this is not gonna win. The problem is not gonna win. And also it's quite early in the morning. Vertex count. And I'm finally able to grab the vertex count here. Talk about pirate software. Why would I talk about pirate software? What is it? Rough it. Oh. Yeah. Chunk. Hey, what's wrong with it? Am I missing some data? Vertex count. 5 parameter. Okay, you. Yeah, I just put too many parameters, and that's an instance count of 1. Starts from 0. The first instance is 0. There is 1 more parameters than we don't need. That's the vertex count. Moment of truth. Is this gonna crash bad? Well, there's a good chance that it's gonna crash bad. I mean, no code works at the first try, especially if you change how the data is flowing. Well, it's not crashing. That's a good news. It's not crashing, but it's not also showing anything. Well, that's something. It's time to run a render doc diagnosis. Let's go. F12. Make a capture. We close it. And we see what's going on here. Color pass. And we have nothing to draw. Yeah, that's that probably won't work much. Yeah, so the index count is 0, and if chunk the vertex count is also 0, then skip it. Also, there is also a check in the chunk creation. Yeah, index count is 0. and vertex count is 0, then don't create anything. Okay, we save some memory this way. Okay, failed to create things. What did it fail to create? Of course it failed to create the index buffers. And that's because we are not putting anything in the index buffer. Yeah, let's put some data that we don't really need, but at least the buffer count is not 0. Bad things happen when there are zeros in our code. There will be a cleanup task soon. And still fails. Failed to create buffer. Failed to create cube index buffer. Why is that? You got some data in it. Ah, because the vertices are already pushed here. Okay. Yeah, then do that. So what happened is that we had some vertices here, but it never got into this function, so the indices were still 0 and had some data, which made it proceed into creating the buffers with no data to store in it. All right. That was something. Could not. Is it trying to grab? Where does this come from? Vertex buffer chunk. What happened here? There is no buffers. Index count is 0. Vertex count is 0. And oh wait. Dumb. I should not have trusted the autocomplete AI. And also the one that is around here, the chunk. Was it 0? Yes. I need some drama. This was pretty dramatic. Okay. It started chill, but at some point it was like following the drama happening in the code. Is this running? Oh yeah, it's running. Nice. We have one side. We have one side. That's pretty cool. Something is working, and now it's worth expanding to the rest of the faces. I'm gonna start with the front face, and that is C. Not like that. No, I did something dumb, and that is C. CGF. CGF. C. G. CGF. CFB. C F and B. Okay. We should have a front face now. Cool. Very cool. But also, so that's gonna push it back. I want to do a step forward, and instead of doing a pushback, I'm gonna say in place and place back and break this down into the position and color. And for the color, I want to set the parameters by myself. So 0, 0, 1. This should give me an all black vertices. Okay, that's good and expected. And on this side, I only see the backs, so I'm good for the front, which is not the front, but it's the back. Yeah, because if I look at, yeah, it's a back. And now I want to change the vertex colors. For the face, A, B, C, yeah, I could make into const. Yeah, probably better if I make them into variables rather than being in the air like this. Color A. Go back for color A, which will be 1. A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. And the pattern in which I want this to happen on the cube is that each face will have an A, B, C, and D. Which is gonna look like something. Oh, that's not. That's not what I wanted. Which will look like A, B, C, and D. And the triangles, they are usually split in this direction. A, B, C, A, C, D. So instead of having them hard-coded like this, I want to have color A, color B, and color C, but then color A, color C, and color D. Then I can tweak these values And this way I can just copy and paste directly into this other function and replace it with mPlaceBack. Okay, I should now have a nice and colorful world made of blocks. Yeah. Yep. Oh, no, wait. That's right, because they're still all black. So that's gonna be what color I want them to be. Red. So this is gonna be 0. Okay, the 0 is fine. And D is gonna be X red. So D, I want it to be red. And then B is going to be Z blue. And C, well, yeah. I mean, that is good, fine. C could be white. Yes, it could be white, but also blue. Let's see how it looks like this. And A is gonna be 0. So we're gonna have black. Okay. It's already way nicer than expected, right? It's not flickering anymore. And we can get rid of the index buffer. All I need to do is to finish. I keep using the Visual Studio keystroke. So this is on the up side. And the up side is going to be... I can recycle what I can find. We got an E. We have the F. So we got an E, F and H. There is an F. There is an H. And the first half is done. Then H, F and G. H, F. We have a G and G. And this face is done. And B, bed. We have a bed. B is found. A. Oh, there's no A. I'm gonna create an A. And the music is gone again. Should we try a new combination? Let's go with drum and bass. No, I don't like that. Neo Soul. I don't know about that. What the heck? It's the same. Oh no, okay. Okay, very chill. Love it. I wanna be chill. Nice, colorful. Yeah. Place back. So I need an A. Can anyone give me an A? Okay, I haven't used A so far. I'm gonna make an A. That's gonna be A. I feel like I should just copy and paste, and then change the letters here. D, that's gonna be E again, and D, and C. That, yeah, that's way faster already. I have to copy the colors. Okay, I feel like I can be even faster now. I just copy one of these and then paste it 6 times. 3 and 3. And D and H and C, H and G. And then copy the colors. Good to go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. BF, BFG, BFE, B, E, and A. Copy and paste the colors. I feel like a robot. Cool. Everything should be nice and bright now. Super colorful. Yeah. What? It is super colorful, but there's one side that doesn't really match the vibes. So this is good. Top is okay. Top. No, it's not just top. Huh? It is annoying because okay, the top is definitely annoying. It's kind of breaking the pattern. And that's because of the order of the triangles. I'm gonna figure that out real quick. The top is up, and for up we have I need to remake the mapping. So there's gonna be a. Can I have red? There's gonna be A, B, C. No, not like that. A, B, C, and D. Then E, F, G, and H. So when we have an E, an F, and then H is D. This is the third color. Why did I even set it like that? Maybe I can just change the order of E, F, G should be E, F, G, E, G, H. Yeah, that should be the natural. E, F, G, and then E, G, E, G, and H. That should be the natural flow of the colors. Okay, that's already good. there is one side that is doing bad, and I feel like is the left or the right. Yeah, one side is fine, the other one is messed up. That is either left or right. I'm gonna check for left first because left should be the one with the negative, yeah, negative x, and that should be drawn like BFE, BFE, and then BEA, and then BEA. Okay, that looks okay, but A, B, C, and D. Yeah, that should be fine. So maybe it's the right one, which is DHC. No, it should be G. Yeah, DHG, DGC. Yeah, that's totally wrong. DHG, and then DGC, and boom. That should be it to fix all of the colors mismatch. Yep. Yep, that was it. Okay, finally. This is something really nice to be inside. It's a bit glitchy. I can feel the loading happening. Even though it's fast enough, I can still feel the drag of the chunks loading in and out. Well, probably not out, because that's just destroying buffers. And what can I make to make it a bit faster, except for like loading, compiling it in release mode? Well, first of all, this is not needed anymore, and we can get rid of these faces, which were wrong anyway. I'm gonna clear the index buffer out. We don't need that anymore. We're not doing indexed drawing anymore. We also don't need this. But we need the index. We need the indices inside the vertex space, like the coordinates. And this one is it used? It's not used, so we can get rid of this too. And yeah, I feel like this is all I need anyway. Indices, they're gone. Ooh, I might reserve some of the vertices. Just a minimum amount of vertices, because I feel like it's a lot of allocations otherwise. We can waste we can waste some of this data, and it's better to allocate a bigger chunk rather than having small ones. So I might just allocate everything that I need at once. This is the worst case, kind of. Oh no, wait, it is already allocating it the worst case, so that's fine. Oh no, this is this used? Oh, okay, that's the temporary. Yeah, I almost forgot that we have a temporary. And then this is going to be at least that size. It's gonna grow. It is probably gonna grow. Maybe it is gonna grow for sure. So we have this number of vertices, and at most we're going to have 6 times as many as this, because it's going to be, so let's say we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 vertices, and then each of them 1 2 3 1 2 3 6, we're 36. 6 by 6, it's going to be 36 to the power 36 36 vertices. Yeah, let's do the math. So it's going to be 36 vertices times the number of chunks. That's the worst case, basically, because the number of chunks is going to be size cube, and for each chunk we might have at most 36. We can do some heuristics and say that, okay, that is probably not going to happen, especially if it's empty. Why would we need to allocate if it's empty anyway? Yeah, let's not do that. So if vertex is empty, because apparently we don't have any data, yeah, let's cut it down here, and we're gonna return an empty. If vertices is empty, then we just return an empty mesh. Yeah, that should work. It might make it slightly faster, but since I'm not really measuring anything, we will not know for sure. What? Oh yeah, we're still in the unbuffer, find index buffer. Yeah, I have to remove the index buffer. We're not using the index buffer anymore. So I'm just gonna delete it from the chunk class. Index buffer is gone. Not doing index anymore. And so that's not there anymore. And no staging. No index size. So no index count and no getter. No index size setting and no index size checking. And we check the vertex count here. Delete buffers, We don't have any buffer to delete for the index, and the index count doesn't exist anymore. We don't do any more of that indexing. Cool. We just removed a bunch of stuff. That should not be on the way anymore. This is gonna lead to a much easier way of addressing the multi-draw thing. I feel like it is a bit faster already. Yeah, that's already smoother. I'm gonna try if it's still working on the controller, but I don't have a cable. Damn, where are all the cables? It feels like you have enough cables until you run out of them. I'm gonna try to connect it wirelessly. New Bluetooth controller, yeah, connected. Why do you even ask? Come on. I said connected. Why is it always so unreliable? Where is it? Yeah, connected. Dude, come on. It's not that hard. Okay, I'm gonna try again. Okay. That's why I need the cable. Switching it off. Alright, let's try again. Yes, connect. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna giving it up. I'm gonna connect it to the cable. I just disconnected the quest. Failed, of course you failed. Why is it so hard? Okay, but at least good old ship. I just resized the window, something that you shouldn't do. You should not resize. Yeah, I don't have. I'm not handling the swap chain resizing. I know I'm a bit lazy. Hey, why is it not turning? What is... What? Up and down is fine, but then this happens when I turn around. I thought it was a problem only in VR. Looks like that's not the case. We have a new problem. That comes into... Oh! Look at this. That is so bad. I didn't catch it yesterday. But lucky my eyes just fell on top of it. This was going to be a very long time spent on a dumb issue. Okay, yeah, this is definitely better. I feel like it's going, yeah, the Y should be going the opposite. It should be going the opposite way. And in the meantime, I want to see how it compiles, how it runs on the Quest, because that's the end goal. Running super good on the Quest. Whoa, yeah. It feels nice. The generation is good. The shading is also good enough. The locomotion is fine. I can move nice between the objects. I should count the number of polygons that I'm drawing, just to know how efficient the measure is. I'm gonna connect the Quest now. As a last thing before the stream ends, we're gonna have the moment of truth. Is it gonna run on the Quest? By the way, yesterday I also implemented the thumbstick for the touch controllers. So now I can navigate inside the VR headset. Compilation's going good. We have a bunch of warnings. Not really my stuff, except for this one. What is going on here? Okay. Binding is ignored. Place it after struct to apply attribute type declaration. Well, that's good to be ignored. GLM, okay, not really my thing. Yeah, other than that, it's pretty clean. So we are clean on the warning side. And it's running, yeah. It's running fine. We are at 120 frames per second. It's pretty solid from the inside. Let's see if I can move around with the joy thumb. Yeah, feels really good. There's no lag. It's just the whole world seems a bit too small. Yeah, it's very nice. I want to check if the rotation is doing any. Oh, okay, the rotation is not great. Oh boy. The rotation is moving me like to places. Okay. Well, It is rotating around an axis that I'm not aware of. Yeah, that's probably the 0. Looks like the 0 plus. Well, at least I can explore the area this way. I can look at the generation of the chunks. So if I move around, I can see the chunks that is kind of following me. And the meshes are sufficiently optimized. The next step, I feel like it would be trying to optimize flat areas, because there are flat regions that can be merged. Whoops. So these area, like there is a big quad in there, and also these long stripes, they should be merged. And that will reduce the poly count even further. Okay, we have a pretty good result so far. Assalamu alaikum, brother. What IDE I'm using, says Omar. So there is an Android Studio in here, which I only use to compile for the Oculus, for the Quest. But as you can see, it's all errors everywhere. So it's not very good at recognizing the modules. Sometimes it works, most of the times it won't. So I just decided to give Sea Lion a go, and as you can see, it's behaving much better. It recognizes all the modules, and the code has no flows. Sometimes breaks, but it's much more rare than what happens with Android Studio. So yeah, it feels like it's pretty much the same, but it's not. I'm using the non-commercial version, of course. It's an open source project after all, so that should be good. The music is gone. Silence has fallen into the stream, and I guess that's about it for today. I feel like I'm satisfied. Maybe I'm gonna be back later, but for now, the optimizations are in a good place. I'll be back into the instance rendering because that is hunting me. So how do I commit this? Remove indexed rendering from chunks. Yeah, I guess next time I want to do some texturing at this point. I feel like we are in a good position to have some more colors. Yeah, this is almost good, but not super good. And maybe have some skybox as well. because this gray is kind of sad. Okay, that's it, folks. I'm happy about the progress today. I didn't have to sketch too much, except for my useful cube. I'm gonna, yeah, maybe I can attach a screenshot. A proof of work. Where is a good? Yeah, maybe something like this. Not too overwhelming. Bit of depth. Yeah, this feels good. Grab the window and just place it in here. And this is the progress today. Amazing. See you next time. Have a nice day, everybody.